Hey, what's up, everybody? Noor Kid Y here, letting go with Noor. Thanks for tuning in. Last night I had an interesting night. Something triggered an old wound, and some old emotional energy from that wound came up. But the way I dealt with it, I was super happy with it, and I felt it was such a positive experience that showed the growth I've made on this letting go journey, and just spiritually showed the growth and maturity in my life, which I'm super happy about. And I want to share with you guys because on this journey, we have a lot of highlights where we release a lot of suppressed emotional energy that's been really blocking us from becoming our full self and living the life we want to live. But when we release that energy, a lot of times we think that's done and gone with. But you know what? We have pockets of that energy, or remnants of that energy that's still in us. And old wounds get triggered a lot, and it'll happen with all of us. And it's the way we deal with those wounds that really shows our growth, and really makes it that we don't get caught up in that negative energy that we used to. Just to give you a background of this particular wound that I was dealing with, just so, because I think when I give examples, it really helps other people see the examples in their own life and be able to implement these practices in a more strategic way, or in just a way that they can relate to. So for me, this wound was related to my comedy career, and if you've been following the page, you know I'm also a stand-up comedian. I've been doing it for 15 years. It's amazing. I love it, and I'm proud of the work I've done in it. I've for a year, especially in the first 10 years of my comedy career, getting into Just for Laughs, which is the biggest festival in the world. That was the end all be all of any comedian. For me, it was just once I get in there, it doesn't matter. I have that on my checklist of things I did as a comedian. I went to Just for Laughs. So I kind of thought of it like that. And year after year, I never got in. And it was this rejection and anger, resentment, blame, these kind of energies I had. And it was tough. I usually dealt with it. And I eventually got to the point where I realized the way I looked at Just for Laughs was in such a toxic, unhealthy way for my career. And I did get over it and stop putting so much value on it, which made my life a lot better. But that those suppressed emotions were still there. And I remember a few months ago when I really started this letting go journey, where it was every day I was showing up and looking at these suppressed emotions that I had and meditating with them, and following, just allowing myself to release these emotions, and allowing these emotions to come up without judgment, without resistance, without any of that stuff I used to do, and really allowing them to come up and just feeling them. And I remember one day I was meditating, and these emotions, heavy emotions, started coming up, and then they started releasing. And while they were releasing, the memories of all this rejection that I had with this Just for Laughs festival started popping up. And it was heavy. It was rejection, it was anger, it was this feeling of inferiority, of just not being good enough. These were the feelings and emotions that were coming out of me. And when they came out of me, I actually cried, and the first time I cried in years, and the tears came out of me, and it was really cleansing. And the reason I knew it was cleansing, afterwards, I just felt like a weight has been lifted off of me. I legit felt this energy in me, this tightness in my belly especially, and in my gut. I felt it just ease up and relax. And since then, it was like a weight was lifted off of me, where these feelings of inferiority almost never really popped up again. And it was beautiful. It was a very freeing moment that I think I'm going to remember that particular meditation for the rest of my life. But yesterday, a comedian triggered that old wound, and the comic didn't do it on purpose. It just happened, and it was because he came back from the festival, from Just for Laughs, and I saw him, and like at first I was like talking with him, like, hey man, how was the festival? And then like while he was talking, you could tell he was like very elated that he just went to the festival, which he should be, but something in there triggered that energy in me, and I felt this inferiority end up kind of coming over me. And right then, like, I felt my energy sink, my body started to tighten up. Even the way I was talking to him, it was less from like hey, like, oh, let me hear about the festival, to more of like me shrinking and almost losing what I wanted to say, which is sad, because he's a good guy. He's like more of an acquaintance, not a guy I see all the time, but he's a really good comic, really good person. And I kind of shrunk because of that energy creeping up. But the beautiful thing is, and this is what showed my growth, and I'm really proud of myself, is that I recognize that energy right away. And I realized, I was like, okay, he triggered a big emotional response because this is kind of a heavy energy and it's quite a bit of it, but I didn't resist it. I let it be. I felt it, and I know that this energy, these emotions, you have to let them be felt, or you're not going to process them, and you're just going to push them down even more. And you know what? I let that energy be, and I felt that energy, even though it did throw me off balance for a little bit, but eventually it dissipated. It took maybe 20 minutes before it like really dissipated, and I got back up to my more high energy self that I've been at for the most part for the last few months. And yeah, it was just once it dissipated, it was just like a nice feeling, because I really went like, wow, because I remember this exact feeling, how prevalent it was in my life years ago, and how I would spiral after that. Like I would really, like, that energy, it would turn me into like I would drink. I used to drink back then. I don't anymore, but I would drink to cover the pain. I would get angry and blame. Blame's a big one, where I would start going like, oh, how did this comedian get in? This comedian's not even that good, or these bookers are stupid, blah blah blah. And think about, that's such a pathetic energy, and it's such a low energy, which I know a lot of you can relate with. But I got into that energy to mask that feeling of inferiority that was really there, that I never processed. And this was my way of not processing that inferiority and looking at it. But I was able to look at it, and then yesterday I was able to look at it before in that meditation and release a lot of it. But that old wound got hit again, and you know what? I was able to stay with it and release that energy again yesterday, and more of it. And I bet you I might have to feel it again too, because it's a big wound of years and years of rejection, and years of this feeling that was really rough for me. But now it doesn't control me, and how beautiful that feels is amazing. And I want you guys to just think about that in your life next time you have something that triggers an old wound. These negative energies that are still in us, none of them are bad, and never look at them that way. When an old wound gets triggered, and maybe you get angry, maybe you get anxious, maybe you get fearful, or get into that blame, resentment thing I was talking about, or get apathetic and feel like you're not good enough, feel like you're inferior, feel like those ones, they come up, you know what? It's fine. You now are getting the tools where you can feel it, let it go, don't resist it. Understand that this energy is just from an old wound, an old part of you that felt this feeling, but it never was able to express that feeling. So do yourself a favor and not judge that feeling and just be like, okay, it's here, and feel it and let it be. And honestly, it's an amazing thing to go through that. And once I went through that, I I felt really grateful that I'm at this place where I can do that. So yeah, I really just wanted to highlight that for you guys. Yeah, I really do feel like I'm growing a lot in this spiritual journey. I'm coming a long way. So I want you guys to come the same way direction as me, and it's good. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me about your own stories. And yeah, if you ever have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. I'll try to answer every one of them. But yeah, I hope you got something out of this video. Guys, take care. Peace.